We welcome you to ESPN's coverage of Ramada Worldwide Bracket Busters from Charles Koch Arena here in Wichita, Kansas. It's the Detroit Titans from the Horizon League challenging the Wichita State Shockers out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Darren Horn, let's get right into our one-on-one matchup, and we're looking at one of the top point guards in the country today.
Well, Ray McCallum's a special talent. He's a star that plays like a coach's son, does everything for his team on both ends of the floor, Dave. And Carl Hall, he epitomizes what Wichita State Shocker basketball is all about. A blue-collar lunch pail guy on the boards and on the defensive end.
Let's take a look at our starting lineup, brought to you by Ramada Worldwide. Out of the lineup for the Detroit Titans today is Juwan Howard Jr. This is unusual because coming into the game, Detroit was one of 5 teams in the country that had started the same lineup every game, but instead, number 33, Evan Bruinsma will get the opportunity. Detroit not an especially deep team for Wichita State. We talked quite a bit about Carl Hall. Keep an eye on Malcolm Armstead, a very clever left-handed guard for the Shockers, who is a good three-point shooter. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Well, Darren, Ray McCallum's one of the top players in the country, but why? What makes him so good?
Well, he's a special talent that plays like a coach's son. He can create for himself. You see right there on the jump shot, Dave. He's a young man that creates for others because he draws so much attention, but he's unselfish to find the open man. And he does it on the defensive end as well, which a lot of stars are allergic to. This guy does it on both ends and does it as good as anybody at his position in America.
So naturally, he's half of our ESPN's coverage of Ramada Worldwide Bracket Busters. From Charles Koch Arena here in Wichita, Kansas, it's the Detroit Titans from the Horizon League challenging the Wichita State Shockers out of the Missouri Valley Conference. With Darren Horn, I'm Dave Lamont, and Darren, let's get right into our one-on-one and kind of a good contrast between these two teams.
Well, Ray McCallum is the total package, and he leads the most prolific offense in the Horizon League. He does it all on both ends, a coach's son. And for the stingiest defense in the Missouri Valley, Carl Hall is the guy that leads the charge. He's a blue-collar lunch pail guy, gets it done on the glass and the defensive end.
And let's get right into our starting lineups, brought to you by Ramada Worldwide. And if you're a Titans fan, this is unusual because Juwan Howard Jr. is not playing today. He suffered a bad fall in practice. This means Detroit is no longer one of 5 Division I teams to start the same lineup every game. For Wichita State, you heard about Carl Hall. Watch out for Malcolm Armstead, a very clever guard, number 2, a left-hander. And also off the bench, Cleanthony Early. He's been in and out of the lineup, now being used as a 6th man and very effectively by the Shockers. And there is the son of the head coach of the Detroit Titans, Ray McCallum out of Beverly Hills, Michigan, a junior. Preseason Horizon League Player of the Year. There's Dad, who's done a wonderful job with his Titan team. Good ball player himself in his days in the MAC and Ball State.
How about the backyard games for those guys growing up?
Oh, yeah, that had to be a little fun, huh? A little pride. I wonder how old was Ray when he finally beat Dad? That'd be the interesting thing. Wichita State in the home grays, Detroit in the road red. Take a look at Greg Marshall there with the glasses, doing a tremendous job. 23 wins already for the Shockers, and we're underway in one of the loudest buildings in the country. That is Armstead, off the pick from Hall, and another pick from Williams. And a turnover headed our way, and it's going to belong to Wichita State. The shot clock does not reset. There's 18 to go. There you see Ray McCallum, what he has done at Detroit. His 15th season as a head coach, his 5th with the Titans.
Detroit, a team that really wants to get into you and pressure you. And talking to the Wichita State staff, they really want to make sure they handle the initial pressure, try to make Detroit work on defense.
And there is Armstead with a left-hand drive for the first bucket of the game. Detroit, not a great shot-blocking team. 184th in the nation. That's Bruins, but in for Juwan Howard Jr. with the alley. Oh, my God! That was Doug Anderson. A reverse alley?
First offensive play of the game. We didn't even get to talk about what could be coming because he did it right away. This guy's a highlight film, one of the highest risers in all of college basketball.
Are you kidding?
Off the back screen, again, from Ray McCallum doing the little things. He's going to be a screen setter, a scorer, a distributor, and a defender today.
Give me a second here, Darren. My eyeballs have to be reattached into my head.
We've got a top 10 play nominee on that one.
Winner. I'm calling it. Short on the 3 ball by Kalist. This is Williams. Cotton. So everybody's touched it for Wichita, including the big center, Arupe, number 21.
Again, we've got a contrast in styles today. Wichita State more than happy to work the clock, make Detroit work on defense. Detroit wants to get out and run, score as quickly as possible.
Well, Armstead was open, but the pass was erratic, so there is a turnover that's not going to make Greg Marshall, well, that says it all right there, very happy. You see what he's done at Wichita State is phenomenal.
Well, what they're doing this year is amazing. This is a team that lost 4 of their top 5 players and 5 seniors from last year's team. They've been injury plagued throughout the season and still sitting on 23 wins and atop their league.
Well, there's an interesting 3-ball from Ray McCallum because he is the type of point guard that doesn't have to score to be happy. But if he gets going early with his shots, he's going to be even more difficult.
Well, he's a guy that can create for himself and he can shoot with range, as we just saw.
There's the 3-ball to counter. Short. Offensive rebound for Arupe. But he throws it into the backcourt, and another turnover for Wichita State. A surprisingly sloppy start from a team that's normally pretty good at taking care of the basketball.
Well, one of the things in talking to Ray McCallum before the game that he was concerned about was Wichita State's rebounding, their size and length on the interior. You saw the offensive rebound, turnover after that, but that's going to be an issue for Detroit today.
I think that's where losing Juwan Howard Jr. is going to hurt Detroit. Unable to play today due to an injury suffered in practice. Little baseline open. Nick Minarat. There's a good player, by the way. Co-player of the week in the Horizon League.
Well, we've already seen early, Dave, what makes Detroit so dangerous. 3 guys in the scoring column. They have 4 on the floor right now that are capable of a 20-point night.
Well, for all the talk is Hall muscles into there and can't get it to go. Bad break. Bruinsma gets the rebound. For all the talk about how scoring is down in college basketball this year, and it is. McCallum for 3. And the rebound, Arupe. This Detroit team, one of the highest scoring teams in the nation. 6th.
Well, they've got a great point guard who's an outstanding scorer in McCallum, but they have other guys that can score the basketball as well.
And McCallum gets away with it right there for the Titans. Caliste Bruinsma. Tried to get it to McCallum, and we're going to get a kick ball, it looks like. And a substitution for Wichita State. Here is Clay Anthony early coming into the game. And Arupe going out. So they're going to go a little smaller early at 6'8", and he is a very good shooter.
Well, he's the leading scorer even though he's coming off the bench. And right now the Shockers need some scoring. Get him into the game, see if he can't provide a little spark, maybe knock down a perimeter jump shot.
Wichita State has not scored the last 5 times they've gone down the court. They've had a couple of good looks. They've also turned it over 3 times in the early going. This is Armstead. He's a senior. Transferred from Oregon. He's had an interesting odyssey to go from Florence, Alabama. Block. Solid rejection that time, and hustling the other end is Anderson, and they tried to set him up for the alley, and it winds up in the front row.
That's the kind of pass you only make, Dave, when you know you're throwing it to a guy like Doug Anderson who can just go get about anything that you get near the rim.
Maybe not that, but I don't blame Detroit for trying.
I love the confidence Ray McCallum showed in his ability to get up off the floor, though.
Into the game now, Fred Van Fleet, 23 for Wichita State in the gray. Good pass from Hall, and the lefty, again Armstead, has both the baskets for Wichita State.
Tremendous post feed right there on the back cut from Hall to Armstead. Armstead, the guy that can get on the scoring column right now. See if Wichita State can get a couple more easy ones.
Something I know makes you happy, Darren. No fouls called in the game yet. Early. And there's one of the easy baskets for Wichita State off a good pass. I'm impressed with Hall as a passer.
Well, we talked about it at the outset. He epitomizes what this Shocker program is all about. He does all the little things. He brings toughness and effort, and he's not scared to feed his teammates as well, and that's important when it's a big man. It makes your offense go better.
That's a 2. Takes a lot to quiet this crowd. Anderson shows he can score in more conventional ways. Now here's Hall. This is a good matchup here against Minarat, and Hall. He's only 6'7"-ish, but he plays so much bigger.
Well, he missed his first 2, but it's amazing how the next one goes in after he makes the right play, feeding his teammates a couple times.
And off that block by Wichita State, we welcome you inside one of the nation's top arenas, Charles Koch Arena in Wichita. 3-ball in the air, and that would have set this place crazy for this Bracket Busters matchup with Detroit, the Titans from the Horizon League in the red, Wichita State Shockers from the Missouri Valley, and Ray McCallum missing the three, and that's an over the back on Doug Anderson. And that is, believe it or not, the first foul of our afternoon in this energetic building. Detroit got off to a quick start. Wichita State battling back by going inside to Carl Hall. Father and son having a talk. At this point, though, it's coach and player. We welcome you back to ESPN's coverage of Ramada Worldwide Bracket Busters here from Charles Koch Arena in Wichita, Kansas. Great environment in here, one of the top arenas in the nation for college basketball. With Darren Horn, I'm Dave Lamont, and we're also going to see one of the nation's finest point guards in Ray McCallum, who plays for the Detroit Titans. What is it, Darren, you like so much about his game?
Well, I like him because he's a special talent, Dave, but he's a star that plays like a coach's son. He's got the ability to create his own and get his own shot. But because he's such a good player, he's able to create for others. He draws a lot of attention, finds the open man underneath the basket. And what really separates him, a lot of stars are allergic to defense, Dave. This guy does it on both ends, leads his team in steals, and takes that defense and creates offense from it.
And let's take a look at who is on the floor, brought to you by Ramada Worldwide. And there you see McCallum. He's heading back out after a quick conversation with his dad, who's the head coach for the Titans. Take a quick look here, and a surprise for Detroit in that Evan Bruinsma is starting over Juwan Howard Jr., but that's due to injury. Howard took a bad fall in practice a couple of days ago and is not able to go. So Bruinsma getting the start. Detroit had been one of only 5 Division I teams in the nation that had a perfect starting lineup. That, of course, brought to us all by Ramada Worldwide. Wichita State has already made several substitutions from their starting 5. One of them not Armsteaders. Van Fleet, he did not start the game. Also into the game now, Nick Wiggins. That's one of the things when we talk to the Detroit coaches. They said, they throw a lot of people at you.
They're a very deep basketball team, Wichita State, and very interchangeable in terms of the length and size they bring in off the bench at every position.
Detroit already challenged with the loss of Howard, and they have not made any substitutions. Minerath, very skilled player. Unable to get that to go, however. And back the other way come the Shockers. Rupe back into the game, too. The 7-footer from Lagos, Nigeria, number 21.
You see Detroit changing things up a little bit, going to the 2-3 zone, away from their pressure, trying to mix it up on the road a little bit against the Shockers.
And Detroit keeps it alive. Calise chases it down. And there's Doug Anderson, who can score in a variety of ways, including some that maybe you've never seen before. An incredible leaper.
Two quick shots the last two possessions on the offensive end by Detroit. It's one of the concerns for Ray McCallum with a team that plays fast. They want to get out and shoot quick, but they don't want to shoot too quickly on the road. You got to know the situation that you're in.
Armstead, who was a left-handed shooter. There you saw it's almost a reverse Rondo. How Rondo goes to left side with the right hand. He went right side with the left hand.
Well, Armstead has been the spark so far for the Shockers. He's been able to come off some ball screen action, get into the paint, and finish at the rim 3 times now.
You see his numbers on the afternoon so far here. Bruinsma off that Anderson screen. Minerath, three-pointer. It's a 6'9" forward from Massachusetts who can, again, score in and out.
This guy's been over 30 points twice this year, Dave. He's capable of big nights, and a big reason for that is his ability to knock it down from beyond the arc.
Early will take an uncontested three and hit it. Somebody's got to get a hand in his face.
Well, if you're going to play zone against Wichita State, you've got to make sure you at least find number 11. Open three, knocks it down.
Bruinsma on the drive. It was bothered, and we're going to have a whistle, and first foul of the game. How about that? Second foul of the game, excuse me. We had a reach-over foul earlier, but this is we have had a quiet game from the officials. Makes the coaches happy. Wichita State in front by 1 early in this Bracket Busters matchup.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Ramada Worldwide. You do your thing, leave the rest to us.
There's your score and time as Wooshok welcomes you inside Wichita and the great home court advantage. My goodness, I talked about Doug Anderson. This happened in the first minute of the game. That's a SportsCenter top 10 nominee, a reverse off the alley.
Jumped from the left side, went and grabbed it on the right, and then dunked it backwards. And you know what? He's been doing it all year. This is one of the highest risers in college basketball. If you watch these clips close, his head's going to be above the rim.
This one against St. John's, and then against Cleveland State just a few days ago. My. Maybe he should have been in the NBA slam dunk competition. It might have been better.
He's going to be in the college dunk competition, I can guarantee you that.
Boy, that reverse alley. I mean, an alley is fun to begin with, but you do that? My. That's what you do in practice when you're having fun. Broke it out in a game.
And it was against the best defensive team in the Missouri Valley in a half-court set. It wasn't even in transition.
First free throw of the afternoon, and Bruinsma, who's a 75% free throw shooter, cans it. Big day for him, the junior from New Era, Michigan, getting an opportunity to start.
You know, and there's some thought process that Detroit can be maybe even more dangerous with him in the game. He's a guy that moves the ball well. He gets to the offensive glass, gives him a little bit more size on the defensive end. Nice to be able to plug him in there when you have a starter like Howard out.
And he is out of the game now, so coming in, Njoku. Uchua Njoku, a junior, also, oddly enough, from Nigeria. So we have two Nigerian-born players Although not on the floor at the same time, but one for each side, and that's going to be off a trip to the line now for Clay Anthony early. Well, we mentioned the NBA. We do have a triple header of NBA action Sunday on ABC and ESPN. At 1 o'clock on ABC, Kobe Bryant and the Lakers face Dirk Nowitzki and the Dallas Mavericks. And so I'm sure Mark Cuban and Kobe will have a nice chat before the game. 7 o'clock on ESPN, the Grizz heading to Brooklyn, take on Deron Williams and the Nets. And at 9:30, Kevin Durant and the Thunder, Joakim Noah and the Chicago Bulls. It's the NBA Sunday Showcase on ABC and NBA Sunday brought to you by State Farm on ESPN. Nice to have that 9:30 game. I like that.
Full day of basketball.
Sweet. Up on the line for Early, who's a 79% free throw shooter. Wichita with a narrow advantage. We thought, and we talked about this last night, that this should very well be one of the best of the bracket buster games.
Well, you've got two teams that are the best at what they do in their respective leagues. Detroit offensively and Wichita State defensively. And what an unbelievable atmosphere here at Wichita State.
Yeah, if you are not wearing yellow or black today, you are a distinct minority. And Fleet with a floater.
And one of the reasons Wichita State's been able to run off 23 wins despite graduation and injuries this year has been they can bring guys like Fred in off the bench. Van Fleet, freshman point guard, but plays solid.
Minerath missing a couple, 1 from 3, 1 from 2. He thought he was foul on that second one. Van Vliet, early, too hard. Rebound, Van Vliet. Rebounding has been an advantage for Wichita State so far in the game, but Njoku comes away with it for Detroit. Boy, he set a huge screen, Njoku, and it's blocked by Hall. He'll go at him again and just turned away again. This time Wiggins blocked it, but Detroit with an unreset shot clock still has it. Minerath, a tough shot. There's almost as many bodies on the floor as standing up, and Wichita State comes away with it.
You think these guys aren't playing to win this game? We've got bodies flying everywhere, and this Wichita State crowd loves the energy and effort that these teams are bringing.
And Hall is fouled. It looks like that's going to be on Kalist. Listen to this. Well, here is Wichita State's NCAA tournament resume. The 23 wins say a lot. They may win the Missouri Valley and get in automatically, but the BPI rank is fantastic.
Well, the BPI and the RPI both very impressive. Schedule strength, not great, but a couple quality wins at VCU over Southern Miss, and of course Creighton, who's fighting for a bid.
It's really interesting. It goes from Animal House in here to the Masters in a matter of moments when a shocker is at the foul line. Unbelievable. And they've been able to do it. Hall has been hurt. He missed 7 games after breaking his thumb. They've been able to do it without 2 starters. They may get one Baker back for the Arch Madness. They may not, but he's been working out before games.
Well, they've really had to piece it together this year, Dave, but the one constant has been the trademark Wichita State defense and toughness that Greg Marshall and his staff prod their program on.
First 10 minutes of this game have been extremely entertaining. This is the largest lead for the Shockers. And the first time we've seen this, little pressure in the backcourt.
Just a little something to try to slow this Detroit offense down.
McCallum, well, he sensed that ball got tapped, and apparently the official thought he did too. This might be on Ja'Kale Cotton.
Well, Greg Marshall and his staff not happy with that play defensively for Wichita State. They really wanted to get out and pressure McCallum on that ball screen action. No help from the big. He's able to turn the corner and get to the rim.
It was number 50, Jake White, who was taking the wrath of Greg Marshall as they were lining up for that free throw. McCallum, 71% free throw shooter. He is a Cousy Award finalist for the 2nd straight year. Bruins coming back into the game, and Anton Wilson checks out. The thing about McCallum is he just seems so polished.
Well, he plays well beyond his years. He's got what I call great pace to his game, Dave. He doesn't try to force things. He never looks like he's out of control. Takes what the defense gives him and makes everybody around him better at the same time.
And right in front of the Wichita State bench, it'll be the Shocker ball. Let's give Greg Marshall a chance to coach him up one more time. Doug Anderson back into the game. And Jermaine Lippert checks out.
I like what both these coaches are doing defensively, Dave. Mixing it up just a little bit, trying to keep the other team off balance. These are two teams, if you let them do what they want to do and get comfortable, they're going to hurt you.
Well, there's a steal. Lost. Williams take advantage. Bruinsma decks him. Joku might have lost the concentration a little bit when he lost his handle on the ball, and Wichita State was right there to get a chance to go to the line.
Rule number one on defense, if you have a loose ball situation, Dave, pick it up. Don't try to dribble the ball or make a play with it. Njoku doesn't do that, loses it, leads to free throws for Wichita State.
Minaret's back into the game for the Titans, and Njoku will check out. Clee Anthony early, and Carl Hall come back in for Wichita State.
See a lot of substitutions, a lot of in and out from Wichita State. That's one of their strengths. Very deep, versatile bench. Something Ray McCallum was worried about for his Detroit team coming into this game.
No problem on the free throws for Williams. Detroit now slumping a little bit. They've missed their last 5 field goals. Second time Anderson sets a screen. That time he rolled to the basket. McCallum was picked. And they get it in the hands of the senior Armstead. He is off to a fabulous start. Armstead.
Oh, the lefty can create off the dribble. I'm not sure he saw the rim on that one, but he's feeling it tonight.
Rejection for Wichita State by Early. He tight ropes the baseline, and off we go. Armstead, Euro, beautiful pass to Hall. Timeout for Detroit.
Armstead has been the spark of this Shocker team so far. He's done it a lot of different ways with the dish.
ESPN Romano Worldwide Bracket Busters with Darren Horn. I'm Dave Lamont, courtside here at Charles Koch Arena. And this first time I have been here, Darren, this building has lived up, and the fans, of course, lived up to the reputation of being one of the finest in college basketball.
Well, I had the opportunity to coach here while at Western Kentucky in the NIT. One of the best atmosphere in all of college basketball, bar none. Tremendous support from these fans, and man, does it get loud in here, Dave.
Anderson, and he got pulled from behind there. Looks like it's going to be on Demetric Williams. I tell you what, if he starts to take off, grab whatever you can grab to keep him from dunking on you, because he can really energize this Titans team with his leaping ability.
And it's one of the advantages of having Ray McCallum on your team. The defense is so worried about him, it frees up opportunities for guys like Anderson to slice to the basket.
Anderson, however, struggles from the foul line. 49%. Last season he had 58 dunks, including one memorable one, and he's had now 3 this season. They're incredibly memorable, if you count the one from this afternoon. That's right at his percentage, 1 out of 2. Now some token pressure. McCallum tells Bruinsma to get away, and off we go. The one-on-one battle here. Williams, Hall fighting through, trying to get a screen set, couldn't do it. Armstead off to a great start. Might have walked there that time, though. And Hall continues to work so hard to get rebounds. And wasn't paying attention, and Wichita State has less than 10 to shoot. Down to 5, Cotton, tough shot. And coming away with a Bruinsma for Detroit, and he almost made a bad pass. into traffic with that. Intercepted. Williams, pretty.
Not the kind of turnover you need on the road if you're Detroit, while the ball has to be in Ray McCallum's hands.
Like this. Missed it, though. Good box out. Wichita State, a great rebounding team. Williams with a hop. Little contact, no call. And timeout called by Ray McCallum and the Titans. This crowd on its feet. They rarely sit down in this building, and they've got reason to cheer. Wichita State enjoying their biggest lead of the afternoon. Darren, what has happened with Detroit's offense? I'll get that thought in a moment. ESPN Sunday Afternoon Showcase features a battle in the Big Ten as Brandon Paul and the Fighting Illini go on the road to face Trey Burke and the exciting Wolverines. The Sunday Afternoon Showcase. The Illini, number 7 Michigan. Sunday at 1 on ESPN and live on Watch ESPN app. We'll get Darren Horn's thoughts on Detroit's struggles on offense. You really don't want to make mistakes in this building. All right, thank you guys in the studio very much. Wichita State to these contrasting styles there. And right now Detroit shooting 5 of 20 for the game. This is not Detroit basketball.
Well, in a game like this, it's whose will can win out and do what they do best. Right now, Wichita State winning that battle, holding Detroit to 25% shooting. Detroit's given up some easy baskets in transition because they've shot a little quick. Some ill-advised shots. They've got to settle down, get something going to the basket with Ray McCallum or a shot off some movement maybe from Minerath.
McCallum starting today 1 out of 4 from the field with no assists and 2 turnovers. Tough shot. And tap back in by Bruinsma.
The lean in, try to draw the foul 3. Not exactly what you're looking for out of the timeout, but nice tip in by Bruinsma.
No, I don't think that's what they drew up on the board. I'm going to go ahead and agree with you on that one, Darren. That's Darren Horn. I'm Dave Lamont. Courtside here in Wichita. Snow piled up outside. They actually didn't even have school on Friday here. Early, that was partially tipped by Caliste. And a great effort, but the ball knocked out of bounds by Wichita State. Cotton, I think he hit the under part of the basket with the ball. Detroit playing without their sophomore from Detroit, Juwan Howard Jr., injured in a practice fall, fell on his tailbone, and didn't even participate in the light shoot-around that Detroit had last night. Knocked out of bounds off Wichita State, 22 to shoot for the Titans.
Well, one of the things Wichita State felt like they maybe could exploit coming into the game today, McCallum, the primary ball handler and the best ball handler by far, aggressive on the defensive end on the perimeter, maybe knocked the ball away a little bit as we just saw.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, Darren, because how would you attack defensively a guy like McCallum?
Well, you got to try to get the ball out of his hands as much as possible, make him work for everything that he gets, and keep him out of the paint.
Bruinsma opened up. What's the call? And the crowd will tell you it's an offensive foul on Bruinsma. 5 team fouls against Detroit. Looked like a good call. More fans, Darren, this year that I've noticed and I've talked to are complaining about block charge calls than I've ever heard. That one, to me, looked pretty simple, but it is, I know it probably drove you crazy, those 50-50 calls like that.
Well, it's because it never seems like it's 50-50 when it's on you.
Exactly. Look at the effort underneath. Early cannot get it in. It's knocked out of bounds, belonging to the Shockers.
One of the dangers in playing a team like Wichita State, Dave, because they're happy to play defense on their end and make you play defense when they have the ball, is a 10-point lead is really much bigger than that. They're going to come down now in these last 5.5 minutes. They're going to make Detroit play on the defensive end, kind of like time of possession in a football game.
Right. Well, coming into this segment of ball here, when we came out of the break, just passed a note that Wichita State had only taken 2 shots before 10 seconds on the shot clock. And they did there because Malcolm Armstead can't miss. 10 points on 5 of 8 shooting for Armstead. McCallum, boy, there was a pick. Williams took a shot from Bruinsma. Caliste nails the 3.
And that open 3-point shot, a direct result of Wichita State being worried about McCallum coming off of that ball screen. Able to throw back to the open shooter.
That's pretty. Very decisive move that time by Early. He got the ball on the pivot and didn't wait.
This young man's a tremendous talent. He can shoot the ball with range, but he's athletic enough to finish at the rim, as we just saw.
And the same thing you could say about Nick Minerath as well, come to think of it. And look at this breakneck pace for Wichita State. This isn't their style, but it's working.
Well, this pace favors Detroit, but the problem is they've got to get some stops in this pace, or they're not going to be able to cut the lead.
Minerath, 3-ball, top of the key. He fires out of the popular "let's go" as he comes back down the court.
But
look at
quick
this.
8 points, but they keep giving up baskets on the other end, Dave.
This is unbelievable. These are chippies right at the cup. And the 6th man is back in play. Minerath going to the dish, and he is fouled. Score it.
It's about as quick of an 11 points if he makes his free throw as you're going to see in a game this year. And as we just said, Detroit's got to find a way to quit giving up layups on the other end if they're going to cut into this lead further.
Well, Wichita State's field goal percentage is certainly above 50 for the game. They're 50, almost 52%. Detroit's now increased to close, a little bit over 38.5, but still, those are such easy baskets for Wichita State. See what's coming up. That's a nice game there at the top. Creighton also from the Valley and St. Mary's. South Dakota State, the Racers of Murray State, and another one, Ohio and Belmont, Ohio. Nice program in the MAC.
Those are 6 really good teams. And how about another father-son game with the McDermotts from Creighton?
Joel Lenardi mentioning today that he thinks there'll be 2 Missouri Valley teams making the NCAA tournament. Certainly got to think Wichita State and Creighton are the front runners in that. Rupe having a tough time with it, but it's knocked out back to Wichita. Cotton. Van Vliet running out of time. No problem. It's all going well for the Shockers right now.
We got to love the young talent on this Wichita State team. Van Vliet plays with tremendous poise and confidence. Aware of the shot clock, steps in, knocks down the open shot.
McCallum working more as a distributor since his shot has gone cold. Minerath missing. And the rebound fought for. Controlled by Detroit and Njoku. Wide open. Easy. So McCallum this time on the receiving end of a great pass. Stepped out of his shoe. And he's having a tough time getting back.
One of the things you got to be careful against this Detroit team is that no lead is safe, Dave. Came back from 15 down last week at Valpo in a huge Horizon game.
You can see McCallum spent that whole possession, another layup for the Shockers, fussing with his shoe. He seems to have it fixed. As you've got Jason Caliste, who's been running the offense, that pass going the wrong way. And here's what happens when the ball was out of McCallum's hand. They kind of lost their leadership a little bit. One of the impressive young stars for Wichita State, Fred Van Vliet. He's learning while playing and while sitting on the bench. Going to miss those days in the Big East, but newer days are ahead as the college basketball landscape shifts. Meantime, ESPN's Journey to the Tourney is a season-long spotlight on games that will impact the tournament. Later today, 2 teams look to strengthen their resume when Wooden Award candidate Doug McDermott and the Creighton Blue Jays square off against St. Mary's. The Ramada Worldwide Bracket Busters, Creighton and St. Mary's today at 6 on ESPN. And, of course, if you're traveling, the Watch ESPN app is the way to go. We take a look at the resumes, Darren Horn, of these teams, Creighton and St. Mary's.
Creighton, obviously, with a tremendous BPI. Strength of schedule, not great. But they've got 3 wins against the top 50. St. Mary's really needs this game tonight because they're sitting on 0 wins against the top 50. Going to be a tremendous matchup.
Got a chance against the Zags, but Zags are tough, and they will benefit from Miami losing today. But right now, the thing that to me is absolutely shocking is how easily Wichita State, I mean, we are at Wichita State with 2:27 to go. They already have 42 points. There's no way we could have anticipated this.
Well, they're getting too many easy baskets right now, either in transition off quick shots and turnovers from Detroit or just defensive breakdowns. If you give a team like Wichita State easy baskets, they're going to make you grind the rest of the way. Huge advantage for them right now in that area.
And they're shooting over 50%. Van Vliet is on fire off the pick from Hall. And it's a 13-point advantage, 7 straight buckets for Wichita State.
I love the freshman point guard, Dave. He plays with intelligence and pace, and he can knock down perimeter shots.
The coaches with very high praise for him yesterday. He was one of the smartest players on the team. And with an Armstead in front of him, Van Vliet's had the chance to learn. As Armstead misses, Bruinsma fighting for that rebound, but it's going to be Van Vliet. And in fact, Van Vliet and Armstead playing together right now.
Well, it gives them the opportunity to put Armstead on Ray McCallum, a physical, experienced senior guard who will have a better opportunity to match up with Ray McCallum than Van Vliet.
This is Jason Calise, pull-up jumper, nicely done by the junior from Scarborough, Canada. Both these teams not shy about where they recruit. You've got players from Nigeria, you've got players from Canada. Very few players for the Shockers are actually from Kansas.
Well, they've done a good job of putting together a roster that fits what they want to do and who they are, and they've gone all over the country to do it.
Same thing for the Titans. They've got a player from Germany. They've got a player from Nigeria. Hall battling. He'll go to the line for the N1.
That's what separates Carl Hall and why he's so important to this Wichita State team, Dave. That's a I just wanted a little bit more than you shot. There's nothing fundamental about it. It's just power and will to the basket, and now he's at the line for the and one.
Second foul on Caliste. In a nutshell, you just saw Carl Hall's game right there, the way he plays the game.
Demetric Williams back in for Wichita State. Takeo Cotton back
with his prescription goggles. Also battles a problem with a heart issue that occasionally causes some fainting spells, and he plays through it all.
Well, these are the kind of young men that you love to coach. If you're a coach, they give you everything they have every day out in practice and in games. They set the tone for the rest of your team.
The tone has been set, and now can Detroit climb out of this hole? B.J. Boutte into the game now, number 11. Callum, Minerath. Well, he drew a crowd, didn't he? Jake White just took a swing at the ball and ended up getting a piece of Minerath.
Detroit offensively, even with the laps that they had, has settled down, done a nice job here in the last few minutes, Dave. Got an opportunity to put up 35 on an outstanding defensive team in Wichita State. That really hasn't been the issue for them. It's been the issue on the defensive end.
They charged the foul to Van Vliet, not White. That's the first one on the freshman guard from Rockford, Illinois. Here's Minerath. Minerath redshirted last year after a knee injury. He played 2 seasons ago. He was voted the co-MVP by the players. And he is the current co-player of the week in the Horizon League with the guard from Green Bay, Kiefer. 55 points in the last 2 games for Minerath. Struggled there, but the rebound goes to the Titans. Njoku quickly into the lane. About a second in between game and shot clocks.
Well, the best offense Detroit may have right now when they're holding for one shot is just to keep the ball in Ray McCallum's hands, let him go to work, get to the offensive glass, but make sure you get back in transition if he shoots it too quickly.
Got to go now. 4 to shoot. Magnificent. Just perfect. McCallum with 10 points. And that's how the half will end. That will not count. So a little bit of a boost for Detroit. Minerath with a 12, early with 11 for a balanced Wichita State team. And they found the basket, the path of the basket, very, very easy in the first half as we join Chris Cotter and Bruce Pearl in the studio for the Land Rover halftime reports.